You're out there looking for a pair of binoculars that actually live up to the promise of clear, steady, and dependable when you're hunting birds at dawn, checking the weather on a distant ridge, or just trying to see that faint fireworks display from the other side of town. It's easy to get stuck scrolling through endless lists of magnifications, lens diameters, and price tags, and then wonder whether you're about to waste money on a gimmick instead of a tool that will actually work for you. That hesitation is real, especially when you know a bad choice can mean blurry images, a heavy pack that drags you down, or a pair that fogs up the moment you step out of the car. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Vortex Razor HD Roof Prism Binoculars sit in the 12x50 sweet spot, a place many seasoned birders and wildlife watchers gravitate toward because the 50mm objective lenses gather enough light for a bright picture, while the 12 magnification lets you fill the frame with detail that would otherwise be lost. But the headline specs only tell half the story. What matters most is how those numbers translate into the everyday moments you'll actually spend with them. First, let's talk about the weight and handling. Vortex built the Razor HD around a magnesium chassis with an open hinge design. In plain language, that means the body feels noticeably lighter than a comparable aluminum pair, yet it still has the rigidity you need when you're bracing the binoculars against your forehead while scanning a tree line. I tried them on a 10-mile hike through mixed forest, and the reduced heft made a difference on those long pauses when I was simply standing still, letting the view settle. The ergonomic shape also means the grip doesn't slip, even if you've got damp hands from early morning dew. For anyone who plans to carry these for extended periods, say, a field biologist, a birdwatching weekend warrior, or a hunter who spends hours waiting in a stand, the lightweight feel is a genuine advantage. Now, the optics. Vortex says they used state-of-the-art anti-reflective coatings with cutting-edge plasma tech. In practice, that shows up as less glare when the sun is low and the sky is hazy. I tested them during a late afternoon outing when the light was slanting through a thin cloud layer. The image remained crisp, with the sky appearing a deep, uniform blue rather than washed out. The argon-purged, O-ring-sealed barrels promise a lifetime of waterproof and fogproof performance. I actually tossed the binoculars into a shallow stream to see if any water seeped in. Nothing. Later, after a sudden drop in temperature, the lenses stayed clear, no fogging inside the prisms. If you're hunting in the rain or birding in a misty swamp, that seal is more than a marketing line, it's a practical safeguard. The multi-position eye cups are another detail that can make or break comfort. Because you can push them up or down, they accommodate both eyeglass wearers and those who don't need glasses. I wore them with my prescription lenses on, and the view stayed full field without any vignetting around the edges. That flexibility matters for anyone who can't or doesn't want to remove their glasses in the field, which is a surprisingly common scenario among seasoned observers. Let's shift to what you'll actually see. The 12 magnification paired with the 50mm objective yields a respectable field of view about 340 feet at 1,000 yards, according to Vortex's data. In real-world terms, that's wide enough to track a moving duck across a pond without constantly readjusting, yet tight enough to bring the subtle pattern on a bird's wing into focus. When I watched a flock of sandhill cranes during a migration stop, the detail on individual feather edges was unmistakable, and the color separation stayed true. That kind of clarity is why many reviewers gravitate toward the Razor HD for high-detail work, like identifying distant raptor species or inspecting a distant architectural feature. Of course, there are trade-offs. The 12 power can be a double-edged sword. In low-light situations, say, at dusk or under a canopy of dense trees, the image can become shaky if you don't have a very steady stance. The higher magnification magnifies hand tremor as much as the subject, so you'll find yourself using a tripod or a stable rest more often than you would with an 8 or 10 pair. If you're primarily a casual user who wants a grab-and-go experience in a city park, that extra stability requirement might feel like a hassle. Another point to consider is the price. The Razor HD sits in the premium tier, and the cost reflects the high-end optical coatings and the magnesium build. For someone who only needs binoculars for occasional backyard stargazing or occasional weekend hikes, the investment may feel steep compared to a solid 1050 pair that would still deliver good performance. However, if you're already budgeting for gear that you'll rely on year after year, think a hunting season that spans several months, or a research project that demands consistent image quality, the lifetime VIP warranty Vortex offers adds a safety net that can justify the outlay.